this week's edition of the Weekly Wire for October 15th, 2015. I'm John Timmers.
I'm Paige Hamilton.
Time for some wire fire.
Anheuser-Busch has agreed to purchase Miller for $104 billion, making it the biggest beer merger in history. The deal must first be approved by the Department of Justice, which begs the question, where was the Department of Justice when the Lime-A-Rita was released?
The Weather Channel announced the names for the 2015-2016 winter storms, and they include the name YOLO. The reasoning behind this, not the joke yet. The reasoning behind this choice, they said, was to tap into mainstream social media and utilize the ways through which, quote, information is most easily accessed and transferred.
Other national services have followed suit, with the IRS now notifying people getting audited with the message, "Bitch better have my money."
Yep, and the new Amber Alert has officially been changed to, "Bye, Felicia."
Playboy announced this week that it will no longer publish nude images in its magazine after seeing a 400% user increase on its website in August when it said goodbye to the birthday suit. That's going to be a pretty rough news for the guys in the audience, right, John?
Don't know why you're looking at me. Didn't even know there was nudity in Playboy.
Oh,
Just
no.
read it for the articles, Paige.
Oh, sure.
That's right. I've been thumbing through those full, robust, sensual articles for decades now. You know what's great is how much the articles have developed. You know, I remember back in the 80s how the articles used to be real full, and you just get tangled up in all the information.
Right. All the information.
It just progressed. You know, in the 90s, they really just trimmed off a lot of it. Just shaved off some of the excess. You know, it's just been a great, making some pubic hair jokes there. The Democratic debate took place on Tuesday, featuring a showdown between Democratic frontrunners Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and the next most interesting thing on stage, an empty podium reserved for Joe Biden.
In Sweden this week, police were called to a meeting of beard enthusiasts after a passerby confused them with ISIS terrorists. According to reports, the police approached merely to find a group of jovial men who were flying a black flag and called themselves the Bearded Villains.
Now returning to the show to comment on the story is our friend and hardcore patriot, Rusty. Rusty, you in the house?
Hey.
There he is.
Oh,
yeah.
Rusty's coming to the stage. All right, let's raise hell.
Rusty, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Paige.
Hey, how's your day, man?
Oh, man, I'm so glad you asked, man. I had the crazy thing happen to me today. We got a problem in this country, man.
What happened?
Well, today I was in the scary part of Atlanta, little 5 points. Minding my own business like an American. I turned the corner, boom! They are everywhere, man.
Wait, what? Who was everywhere?
Terrorists, Paige! Everywhere I look, I saw them walking around with their face blankets. Their Islamic cheek shrubbery.
They're what?
Chin turbans. Desert wool. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Wait a second, Rusty. Are you just talking about beards?
Of course I am. You think you can walk around with a bushel of overgrown Gaza strips and I don't have a soul patch and fool me? I know terrorists when I see one.
Yeah, Rusty, I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but it seems like you're making the exact same mistake that happened earlier this week in Sweden. You know, somebody called the cops on a group of bearded guys just because he thought it was an ISIS meeting.
Oh, no, man. Sweden's got folks walking around wearing Taliban face masks. Jesus, looks like old Uncle Sam's gonna have to bail Sweden out. Again.
Again? When has the U.S. ever bailed Sweden out of anything?
Civil War, man. But the point is, you got people walking around sporting their Al-Qaeda name tags, you got yourself a problem.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It turns out it wasn't ISIS or Al-Qaeda at all. It was just a group of guys with beards.
John, you're confusing me, man. That's the same thing. If it wasn't ISIS, then who the heck else would it be?
Oh, bearded villains.
Well, I know that, man. But what was the name of the group?
The bearded villains.
Yeah, exactly, man. Those guys. What's the group name?
No, the name of their group is the Bearded Villains.
fucking with me, man? Well, I say it's an accurate name if you ask me.
Rusty, I gotta say, it really seems like you equate beards to terrorism, and I hate to address the big elephant in the room here, but I've got a beard.
Hey, that little thing?
Yeah, my beard.
You kidding me, man? That patch of rough wouldn't stop a 3-foot putt.
That was a decent beard myself.
Stop it, man! I can't breathe.
All right, Rusty, everybody. Thank you, Rusty.
Alright, this brings us to our next segment. It's called Let's Get Serious.
Let's get serious, guys. Some of you may have heard about the bombing of the Doctors Without Borders hospital in Afghanistan that killed 24 and turned out to be the result of a U.S.-operated airstrike. General Campbell, the chief military officer in Afghanistan, acknowledged that the bombing of the hospital was a, quote, mistake and accidental. A mistake? Since when has bombing a hospital been called a mistake? No, grabbing the pot of decaf, that's a mistake. Going home with Annie 3 nights ago, that was a mistake. Bombing a hospital, are you serious? That is a fuck up. Pardon my language, but we need the president to say that. President Obama also, he did issue a very profound apology to the humanitarian group and the families of the victims, but the organization's international president, Dr. Joanne Liu, is calling for an independent war crimes investigation from the International Humanitarian Fact-Finding Commission, or if you spell out it as an acronym, it's the That's right. The IHFFC responded, sorry about that. They said, yeah, we'll put it on the top of our list. I mean, what happens if the U.S. is guilty of war crimes? Did they go in some sort of war timeout? Can't have any more war for 15 more minutes or you lose war for the rest of the day? I mean, let's talk about the IHFFC for a second. In order for the investigation to proceed, it requires consent from all nation states involved in the incident in question. Yeah, and I'm totally gonna get a written admission from which one of my neighbor's dogs keeps shitting in my yard. You know, you take out the dog, you put in a jet, you take the shit, you make it a bomb, and you take my lawn and you make it a hospital, you're gonna get the same result. That could be the reason why in 25 years of existence, the IHFFC has gotten no action. Not one time. It's basically every girl on Christian Mingle. Has to make you wonder. If the IHFFC will ever be used, since it requires so reasonably the consent of all the parties involved. Needless to say, this has left me with a few leftover questions. Leftover question number 1. Did the U.S. verify the info on which it based its decision to send in an airstrike? Leftover question number 2. Were they aware of the hospital's presence in the area? And leftover question number 3. Which one of you people ate my Chinese food? I put it in the fridge over there right next to the coffee. Right there, and it's not there anymore. I'll be honest, I don't even care about this issue. I wrote this whole entire segment just so I could get to this part right now. Who took my leftovers? Sorry, that's how I get serious, Paige.
John Timmers, everybody. It wasn't me, by the way.
Sure.
No.
Yep. Smell like Kung Pao.
I would admit it. Any other news this week?
Oh yeah. Before we leave, big day was yesterday. Wednesday was National Dessert Day. It's funny you would think that a day like that would be on a Sunday. Fastballs, guys. Yeah. It's funny. I can only assume and declare that someone has.
My bit, or is this?
No, I'm just trapped right now. I can't stop. They've been putting it on the wrong day. Maybe they should turn over their policy. When you do this, how do you stop? I can't. Is it better if I scream?
Oh, yeah, that's it. We're the Weekly Wire. Thank you
That's
guys
our show,
so
guys.
much.
Thank you so much.